Hi guys, this is my first YouTube tutorial. This will be very rough, I know it. I don't have a really good I don't have like a super great camera or anything, but I kind of wanted to do a tutorial for a long time on something, and I'm not good at makeup. I wear it, but I mean, I'm like any girl, I just wear it to look nice and everything. I don't really consider myself fashionable or anything, I just kind of wear whatever. A is clean, B looks good, C is comfy, and I go by what I feel like. And I don't do anything crafty. I'm not good at that kind of stuff, so I'm really only good at books. I read a lot of books, and I just kind of want to do a tutorial for people who, like me, love to read and are always looking for another good book to read. So this one's going to be a sci-fi fantasy tutorial. Books that you can read that if you like Twilight and Hunger Games. No, don't worry, I'm not going to send you looking for books with vampires that glitter. I promise you. The one vampire book I do have in here that is slightly Twilight-ish, maybe. It's like kind of like a combination, I guess, of Twilight and the Hunger Games. It's a combination of Twilight and the Hunger Games, kind of. It does not involve glittering vampires. It's more traditional. They only come out at night, that kind of stuff. So let's get started. So the first book I'm going to do is The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. This is the vampire book I was telling you about. It's by a girl named Allie. And it does take place in the future. In the future, vampires rule the world, and humans are used as blood cattle. I'm pretty sure that's an exact quote from the book. And if you're registered every month, certain vampires come for you, take a certain amount of blood, and they leave for that month. And then they come back next month. It doesn't matter if you're on your deathbed, sick or whatever, they get their blood. That's the point. You can die from too much blood loss naturally. They don't care. It's blood for the vampires. But the good news is you get food and everything. You're kind of taken care of. Then there's the unregistered, like Allie and her group. And so it's about how she goes out one night, gets in a battle with these vampire mutants, I guess. They're just straight up killers. They don't care. They have no soul. They just feed and they kill. So one night she fights them and is given the option to become a vampire or die. So she picks, I'm going to be a vampire, the very thing she hates the most. It's about how she has to learn to become one, to be like one, to blend in kind of, because it's a whole new world for her, how to feed. And yes, she does fall in love with a human. But again, there's no glitter, there's no meadows, there's no beautiful white wedding, there's no half human, half baby vampire thing. There is none of that. What attracts to this guy is pretty much bloodlust. And so it's fairly thick. Julie Kagawa, I think, wrote the Iron Face series. I've never read them. I didn't even know who she was until I read the book. But it's a very good read. I do think it will keep you preoccupied. It is a bit slow in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. Once you get past the first few chapters, you are good to go. And it is, I think, a fantastic book to read if you like the Hunger Games, or if you're like me, read the Twilight series, you're probably kind of sick of the whole lovey-dovey, super gorgeous vampire thing. I want something a little more realistic. Well, this is kind of like for you. Most definitely, okay? So that's kind of like my only vampire book I have in this one. The next one I'm going to address is Beautiful Creatures by Cami and Margaret. I'm sure you've seen the trailer by now, probably heard a lot about the book, and maybe you're thinking, what's this book about? I mean, it's not as well known as The Hunger Games, most definitely. I don't think it's as well known. I think a lot of it's like, it's told from a guy's point of view. So if you're a guy and you watch this and you're like, okay, it's told from a guy's point of view. And if you see the trailer, you know it's about a boy, Ethan Waite, who grows up in South Carolina, in a town where, in the South, basically, like, they're very against anything that's different. It's kind of like the white South, really. You're white and you believe in Jesus, and anything else that's not like that is kind of forbidden. So this girl comes in, Lena Duquesne. She's interesting. He's kind of drawn to her, but he doesn't know why. Turns out she's a caster, aka a witch, but they prefer the term caster. And she tells Ethan, in my family, when you're 16, you're claimed to be the light or the dark. And I'm the strongest caster in my family in years. So if I get claimed for the light, that's good for the humans. If I'm claimed to the dark, it's bad for the humans. I don't want to be claimed to light because my mom is the most powerful dark caster in the world. So that's the whole story, and it's definitely humorous. Again, it's told from a guy's perspective. It is obviously a love story, but I think one of the things that gives it a difference is the guy's point of view, and also the fact that, well, I mean, girls are naturally attracted to the forbidden love story, the whole Romeo and Juliet thing. We're attracted to that, but I do think what gives this edge is the magic. It's not zombie, it's not werewolf, it's not vampire, it is magic. Something that has been done in a long time. So, again, if you're looking for a good read, and you could say that maybe it's kind of Twilight since it involves like a supernatural creature or anything, but I personally don't think so. I don't think it's anything like Twilight at all. Twilight is overly sappy. In my opinion, now I look back, as I used to be Twilight, it's overly, painfully sappy. So, again, looking for a good book, this is definitely one you might want to consider reading. Okay, now on to the more sci-fi ones for you Hunger Games fans. So, I got this book, Divergent by Veronica Roth, and it is about a girl named Beatrice who lives in the futuristic world where you grew up in a certain group. You can grow up in Abnegation, Candor, Dauntless, Amity. And I think there might be one more, but I honestly can't remember. I really can't remember for the life of me right now. I don't know why. I think I'm just drawing with a really dumb blonde little blank. But what happens is, and when you reach a certain age, you go to a choosing ceremony. There's erudite. Erudite. I don't know how you pronounce it. Erudite. Right there, the I. And that one is knowledge. So what happens is you go up in one of these groups, and when you reach a certain age, you go kind of like a choosing ceremony. You pick which group you want to live in for the rest of your life. You can, granted, stick with the group you were born in, which is what a lot of people do, or you can transfer. And so Beatrice makes a choice that not only surprises her, but her whole family, because she's from Amity, where they put themselves above, or not themselves, they put everyone else before them. They're like the givers, kind of. And so she's always like, I'm not worthy of this group, I'm too selfish, I'm too this, I'm too that. So she makes a shocking choice. And again, there is a romance involved, but I do think that this one is a lot more realistic, maybe. Yeah, I do think it's a lot more realistic. If this were to happen, if this book were real, like, this would be more believable than Twilight or anything else, just because it's a lot different. This girl Beatrice is struggling with herself, and so even by the end of the book, she doesn't really know everything who she is. She's not totally sure of everything. So it's not like those books where by the end she knows who she is, she's found the boy, blah blah blah, happy ever after. It's not what those books. It is a trilogy. The second one is out, called Insurgent. The third book is coming out, which I'm beyond excited for. And again, this one is also fairly thick. This one took me again about a week to read. But definitely something for you people who were kind of into the Hunger Games, kind of want something sci-fi, but still with a little bit of romance. Now, I do think this is one guys could most definitely get into, because there is a fair amount of fighting and blood and everything, so this is definitely, I would say, a unisex book, if I had to say it was one. And I'm putting all the names and authors in the description box below. So, bye. The last book I have for you guys is another futuristic book. This one you may have heard of, may not have heard of, I don't know, but it's by James Patterson, called Maximum Ride. And this one is about a girl, Max, who lives with her whole flock. And you might when I say flock, I'm laughing. It's because her and her flock are half human, half bird, basically. They're really tall. They look like humans, but they're really tall again and have wings. And they each have a specific ability to go with that. Each of them is different. And so there's Max, Fang, Iggy, Nudge, Gazzy, and Angel. 6 kids, and they live out in Colorado by themselves. Max is a leader, and she became so 2 years ago when their father, Jeb, disappeared mysteriously. They assume he's dead. No one wants to say otherwise. Max is a leader, and everything goes fine. Until the place where they were genetically altered comes looking for them. School. They call it school. I thought that was kind of funny because I'm like, oh, school. It's a place where you're tortured, kind of like real school. But they come looking for them, and that's when the whole series really begins. So again, this one is a good thickness. There's 8 books in the whole series. The last book came out over the summer. I have not read it yet, which blows my life because I was waiting to, my aunt got me for Christmas in the midst of reading like 5 other books. So when I get through all those, I'll pick up that one. But again, I think this is another really good book. This one, I think, can most definitely be for boys and girls as well. Just because it is told from a girl's point of view, but Max is she's very teenager. She's very, if you're not, I don't listen to you, I don't care what you have to say, and I'm not going to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's all there is to it. She's very independent. And stubborn, which most of us teenagers are. So I think that's another good book for you to read, and that's the last one I have for you. So those are all my books. I do intend to do more tutorials on just other kinds of books I have. I have a whole bookshelf full of books that I have pretty much not touched, or I haven't touched most of those books in months, if not years. I've been reading since I was in 8th grade nonstop. So yeah, but let me know what you think. If you read the books and you like it or hate, just let me know. Give me your thoughts on this stuff. I want to know. So let me know what you think and everything, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.